There is a moment in the dynamic with a narcissist that is almost imperceptible to an outside observer, but which reverberates like an earthquake within the relationship. It's not the moment you yell, it's not the moment you cry, and it's not even the moment you threaten to leave. The most dangerous moment for the narcissist, and the most liberating for you, is the moment you become silent. But it's not the silence of submission. It is the silence of observation. It is that instant when the fog lifts. You stop reacting emotionally to provocations. You stop trying to explain yourself to someone who is determined not to understand you. You stop looking for logic where only manipulation exists. It is the moment you wake up. And believe me, even before you verbalize this change, the narcissist has already sensed it. They possess a hypersensitive radar for the withdrawal of your emotional investment. Many victims believe that by discovering the game, they will finally have the advantage. They think, now I know what he is, so I can handle it. What no one tells you is that the awakening is not the end of the war. It is the beginning of the most intense battle. When the narcissist realizes the mask has slipped and the old tricks no longer work, he doesn't retreat. He doesn't reflect. He enters a state of psychological emergency. The person you knew undergoes a rapid and frightening mutation. The tactics change, the intensity increases, and reality seems to distort even more. You start wondering if you're going crazy, right when you've started seeing the truth. Why has he become so much more aggressive? Or why, suddenly, has he become the perfect partner you begged him to be for years? Today, we are going to decode exactly what happens in the narcissist's mind when he realizes you are waking up. We will dissect the panic, the containment strategy, and the fury that erupts when the puppet cuts its own strings. You will understand that the chaos you are living in now is not a sign that you are wrong, but the definitive proof that you hit his weak spot right on the head. The loss of control. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. To understand the narcissist's reaction, we first need to understand how he reads you. Throughout the entire relationship, you functioned as a high-definition mirror for him. If he treated you poorly and you cried, the mirror reflected power. If he gave you crumbs and you were grateful, the mirror reflected grandiosity. If he disappeared and you panicked, the mirror reflected importance. All of his emotional regulation depended on your reactions. You were his internal thermostat. The awakening cuts this power cable. Imagine you are watching a movie repeat for the 100th time. The first time you were emotional. By the 10th time, you already knew the lines. Now, you merely analyze the acting. When you wake up, you stop being the supporting character in his drama and become the critic in the audience. The narcissist notices this through micro-behaviors. It's the 2-second delay before responding to an absurd accusation. It's the look that no longer carries fear or adoration, but rather a clinical skepticism. It's the absence of that desperate need to justify yourself. For the narcissistic mind, this is terrifying. Not because they are afraid of losing you as a person. Object love is a fallacy in these cases. But because they are afraid of losing the supply, and even worse, they are terrified of being seen. The gaze of someone who has woken up is an X-ray vision. It cuts through the charming persona, cuts through the victimization, and sees the wounded, empty child dwelling deep inside. In this initial stage, the narcissist feels a strangeness in the air. He will test the connection. He will throw out a classic bait, perhaps a critique of your appearance, or a passive-aggressive comment about how you've changed. The objective is simple: to press the button that always worked. If you used to feel insecure, he wants to see the insecurity. If you used to get angry, he needs your anger. When you don't react according to the script, when you respond with a simple, "I understand that's how you feel," or simply maintain silence, his internal alarm system goes off. The ground shakes beneath his feet. He understands that the power dynamic, which was always tilted in his favor, is leveling out. And for a narcissist, equality is synonymous with existential threat. This is where the strategy changes from maintenance to all-out war. In behavioral psychology, there is a concept called extinction burst. Think of a vending machine where you always put in a coin and receive a soda. One day, you put in the coin and nothing happens. What do? Do you calmly turn around and walk away? No. You press the button repeatedly. You kick the machine. You shake the equipment. You use more force. When the narcissist realizes you are waking up, you become the machine that stopped delivering the soda, the supply. His immediate reaction is not to fix the machine. It's to pound on it until it works again. This manifests in two polarized forms, and he often oscillates between them within hours, leaving you dizzy. The first form is emergency love, bombing. If he senses that the threat of you leaving is real and imminent, he may suddenly transform into that prince from the beginning of the relationship. Suddenly, he wants to go to therapy. He cries, and narcissists are Oscar-worthy actors. He admits to errors, but observe closely. They are vague admissions, such as, "I know I haven't been perfect," never a concrete acknowledgement of the specific abuse. He buys presents, plans trips, promises the change you've waited for 10 years. This is not repentance. This is a tactical maneuver. It is the extinction burst in the form of seduction. He is throwing everything he has at you to put you back in the trance, to make you doubt your own clarity. Maybe I overreacted. Look how hard he's trying, you think. That is exactly what he wants. The second form, and the most common when love bombing fails, is intensified aggression. If seduction doesn't work, he resorts to terror. The criticisms become cruel. The silent treatment, which previously lasted for days, now lasts for weeks. The sabotage becomes obvious. He starts picking fights out of nowhere, desperately seeking any emotional reaction from you, even a negative one. Remember, for the narcissist, your hatred is still supply. Your hatred means he still matters. The only thing that destroys him is your indifference. In this phase, he is testing the limits of your new armor. He is trying to prove to himself that he still holds the remote control to your emotions. Every time he manages to get a rise out of you, he feels a temporary relief. Whew, she's still mine. The reality is still the one I defined. If emotional brute force, seduction or aggression, doesn't work, the narcissist resorts to a more insidious tactic. He attacks the very source of your awakening. He needs to delegitimize your new perception of reality. You started reading about narcissism. You started watching videos. You may have gone back to therapy. You are acquiring the vocabulary to describe what you feel. To the narcissist, this is like you are arming yourself with nuclear weapons. His response will be to transform your clarity into pathology. He will begin constructing a narrative that you are the one who is losing your mind. He will say things like, "You're obsessed with these psychology topics. The internet has brainwashed you. You've changed. You've become bitter, cold, vengeful. Your therapist is poisoning you against me." Notice the inversion. Your defense mechanism, knowledge, is reframed as the problem. He tries to make you feel ashamed for seeking answers. He tries to make you feel crazy for seeing patterns. This is advanced level gaslighting. The goal is no longer just to deny an event that happened yesterday, but to deny the validity of your personal evolution. He may start demonstrating fake concern about your mental health. He might call your family members and say, "I'm worried about her. She's reading some strange things. She's acting paranoid." He plants seeds of doubt in your environment to isolate you. This is a desperate attempt to restore the old order. If he can convince you, and others, that your awakening is actually a breakdown or a midlife crisis, he invalidates everything you have discovered. He protects his false self by discrediting the key witness, you. It is vital that you understand this. When you start setting healthy boundaries to a toxic person, it feels like aggression, and he will accuse you of exactly that. He will call you the narcissist. He will use the terminology you learned against you. It is a hall of mirrors designed to leave you exhausted, so you think, "It's too hard to fight this. It's easier to go back to sleep." When the previous stages fail, you didn't succumb to the love bombing, you didn't react to the aggression, and you didn't doubt your sanity. The narcissist comes to a terrifying conclusion. You have become uncontrollable. And if you are uncontrollable and know the truth, you are a ticking time bomb. You have the power to expose who he truly is. At this point, his priority shifts from regaining control over you to managing to the damage of your inevitable departure. The narcissist operates under the logic that it is better to abandon than to be abandoned. It is better to destroy your reputation before you destroy his mask. The preemptive discard and the smear campaign then begin. He starts rewriting the history of the relationship while you are still in it. He starts collecting proof of your supposed instability. He subtly provokes you, records your explosive reaction, and shows his friends, "See, this is what I have to deal with." He becomes the perfect victim. His behavior at home can become cold, calculating, and almost robotic. He is already grieving the supply you provided and looking for new sources. but he needs to come out on top. He needs the end of the relationship to look like it's your fault. Many victims are shocked by the coldness of this moment. How can he act like I'm nothing after everything we've been through? The answer is painful, but liberating. For the narcissist, people are functions. If the toaster no longer makes toast and still threatens to burn down the house, you throw it away and buy a new one. There is no emotional attachment to the shared history, only to the utility you had. When he realizes you have woken up, you stop being an object of comfort and become an object of threat, and objects of threat must be neutralized. This explains why the discard is often accompanied by unnecessary cruelty. It's not just to end things, it's to punish you for the audacity of having woken up. It is to ensure you leave the relationship so destroyed that you don't have the strength to tell your side of the story. What you need to take away from this scenario is not fear, but validation. If you are seeing these behaviors unfold, if you feel the mask has fallen and the monster has appeared, it does not mean you have failed. It means you have won the first and most difficult stage. You have seen the truth. The chaos the narcissist creates when you wake up is the irrefutable proof that the dynamic always depended on your blindness to exist. The moment you opened your eyes, his world began to collapse. All the fury, all the manipulation, all the theater he is putting on now is just smoke to try and hide the fact that you have reclaimed your power. You cannot unsee what you have seen. The red pill has been taken, and as painful as it is to cross this desert of awakening, remember, the only thing worse than facing the fury of a narcissist when you wake up is spending your whole life asleep next to him, being consumed little by little. You woke up, and though he makes noise, slams doors, and threatens the world, he knows one thing that terrifies him more than anything. Against your clarity, he has no defense. Hold firm to your truth. The nightmare is ending, precisely because you decided to open your eyes. Feel free to leave your story, your vent, or even a suggestion for a topic for the next video in the comments below. Access my ebook now through the link in the description. Click on the suggested video on the screen to stay with me, and remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.